everybody, this is Judy at Judy in the Kitchen. A viewer wanted to learn about my indoor hydroponic system, so that's what today's video is all about. To start with, I'm using about the most simple method of hydroponics you possibly can do. It's a non-circulating hydroponic method designed by Dr. Creaky, a professor at the University of Hawaii. Thank you, Dr. Creaky. Let's take a look at the racks. These are heavy-duty racks that you can get at most any home supply place. They come with 5 shelving units, and the one on your left is about 4 feet wide. The one on your right is about 3 feet wide, and I just have ones that are the width that I need for the space that I have. It's in my dining room, and the other one on the right is in my living room. Now these are heavy duty. I suggest that you get the very heavy duty ones because the bins will be full of water and they're very heavy, and you don't want to risk having issues with them breaking, bending, falling over, or something like that. Now you've probably noticed that I have some material, whether it be a towel or a piece of a plastic tablecloth, draped across the shelves. That's not mandatory. I do that primarily because I have hardwood floors, and these are authentic hardwood floors. I'm in an old house, and in case I have a little bit of a water spill, I want to make sure that I protect that floor that's underneath. Also, the electronics from the lights are directly below the tubs, and so therefore, if I have a water spill, I don't want to electrocute myself, so I'm trying to protect myself that way, as well as the hardwood floors. Now for the lighting, I have LED lights, the most inexpensive ones I could find, and you can see for the 4-foot wide rack, there's 3 lights suspended on the very bottom rack, 3 on the next one, and 1 light on the next rack up. And you can see I've got some baby plants there that need to be a little closer to the light. On the 3-foot rack, I actually have 2 lights suspended. 3 lights would just not fit there. And I have 2 racks with lights suspended on them. You'll also see that I have a fan going. I've turned it off at the moment for the sake of the video, but I do try to keep some air circulating around them. That helps to dissipate the heat from the light. Also, I feel like, especially for the tomatoes, it helps to strengthen the plants, mimicking what they would experience outdoors with some air movement. It also is good to help keep any tiny little bugs away from them that might happen to make their way into the house and want to nest on the plants, so that's helpful as well. Now obviously with all these different lights, there's a lot of wiring, a lot of electricity involved. With the LED lights that I've got, I actually have 3 different brands of them. Some of them have a switch, an on-off switch right on the unit itself. Some of them have the on-off switch on a cable, which you can see right in the middle of the screen there. And some of them don't have a switch at all. So there's a lot of electricity need here. I only have 1 outlet per rack. So I have a mess of wires down on the floor. You can see a power strip actually on each side of my rack. And I've worked it out so with the lights that I need at the moment, they are hooked up to the power supply, and all I have to do in the morning and in the evening is just turn the power strip on, and the lights and the fan and so forth that I need at the moment come on with that 1 flick of a button. And it's a lot easier than trying to reach for the on-off buttons on each and every one of those wires or lighting units, or plugging in the ones that don't have the switches. So I've just worked it out so it's easiest for me that way. Now another question would be, how far apart should the shelves be? Well, for the shelves that have the tubs that you see right in front of you, those shelves have 21 inches between them, and those tubs are roughly 15 quart tubs, and that gives you an idea about how big they are. The distance between the top of the tub and the bottom of the light above it is roughly 12 inches. That's plenty of space for a small type of lettuce or a plant that is not going to get overly large. My cherry tomatoes that are there, the Tiny Tim, they say that the height is up to about 7 inches, might actually go up to 12. So I don't know if I'm going to run into a space issue with them or not. I've grown kale in this setup 2 years now. I'm at the very beginning of my third growing season with these, and I can say that there's really not enough space there for kale as far as height wise. So I am debating about raising the height on my 3-foot rack and allowing space there for kale to grow a little bit better. Or I also have another spot in the house by a window where I've put taller plants, and it's worked really well for them. So I'm debating. My goal this year is to focus on lettuce and kale and basil, which I like to eat a lot of, and I'm experimenting with the tomatoes, so I may keep them going, I don't know. But just letting you know about how much space is there, and you might just determine from the height of the tubs how much space you need between your racks to give your plants enough space to grow height-wise. One more thing that I have on my rack, and this is on the short shelf, is a warming mat, and this is excellent for using if you're starting seeds and it's cool in the house and they need some warmer temp just to get started. Then I will plug this in and put my little seeds on there as they start to germinate, and that helps them along. Right now it's warm enough in the house, I certainly don't need that, so I'm not worried with it. Now you'll also notice on these bins that have my little tomato plants that are right in front of you there, that I spray painted the bins blue. Color doesn't matter. What's important with the tubs is that light cannot get through them and into the water. And so you see the ones that I've spray painted blue seem to work fairly well. And a lot of people who do hydroponics will spray paint them. I didn't really enjoy the process, and I just felt like it wasn't really the best thing for me. The ones down at the bottom, you'll see the two on either side there, don't have anything on them. When I go to use them, I will line them with a black plastic bag, a new one every time. You don't ever want to reuse them because of the bacteria that might develop in there. And you just want to make sure that light does not go through. Why? Because if light goes through, then that water can be prone to developing algae in there, and that'll kill your plants in a heartbeat. So you don't want to do that. You want, whatever you use, you want to make sure that light cannot permeate that tub. I'm sure you've noticed that I have paper duct taped to the top of the lids. Why do I have that? Well, when I first got started, I thought I could put the plants closer together than what they actually could be. And I had my husband drill 5 different holes in the lids of those tubs. Well, it didn't take me long to realize that, nope, that is just too close, and some of the plants would do well and a lot of them would not do well because they didn't get enough light. So I have covered the holes, and mostly going to 2 plants per tub. 1 is probably ideal, but I'm trying to get the most out of it that I possibly can. So again, you don't want light to get into that tub, into that water, because I don't want algae to grow. So I've covered it up rather than tossing the bin. And you can see on the bottom, the gray tub there, you may not be able to see it entirely, but there's actually 3 holes in there. The pole of the rack is hiding 1 hole. And you can see the others have 5 holes in them. They will be covered up, all but 2 holes along the way. There are a lot of people who do hydroponics, and they'll put those plants really close together. That might work if your plant is going to be very small, but if it's going to spread out, then 5 holes is just too many. Another important point with the hydroponics is the solution that you put in the bins. I'll get into that if you want me to in another video. There's a variety of nutrient solutions specifically designed for hydroponics. You want to make sure you use that sort of a solution and monitor the pH of it as well. Those are very important points. Now, just to satisfy your curiosity as to what I had growing on the shelf above the tomatoes, I'm showing you. In this pan, I have some sunflower seeds that I'm sprouting, and I'm going to just use the shoots in salad. Okay, so what I do is I've got them in just a little bit of water here, just enough to make the seeds wet but not cover them, and they're growing pretty well in here. You can possibly see some roots that are coming out the bottom of this. It's a little colander, and they haven't been in there all that long, and they're doing fairly well. In this pan, I actually have some wheat kernels, and I'm growing wheatgrass, and I will be using that in juices. When I like to juice kale and carrots, and we drink that every day as like a little bit of a supplement. And when I can, I like to add wheatgrass to it. So I'm growing some wheatgrass there. In this pan, I've started some lettuce. This is actually Jericho romaine lettuce, and it will grow to height of 5 to 7 inches, which I think is perfect for my setup. And these plants are doing pretty well. They don't have roots coming through yet. Well, that one has some roots, so that one's actually ready to go. But I'm going to put these in one bin, and I need to have them all showing some roots. That's got some roots, and this one does not. So 2 are ready, 2 are not. So I'm waiting till they're all ready to go with some roots showing, and then I will put them in a bin of their own. And then in this tub, it doesn't really look like much to show at this point because I just started them. This is tricolored romaine blend. One of them has come up, if you can see. One is barely coming up. The other ones have not surfaced yet. So they're brand new. I just started them a few days ago. So they're not up yet. Well, I do hope that this helps you out. If I haven't answered all your questions about how to set up a basic hydroponic system in your home, your garage, your basement, wherever, please let me know, and if I can help you, I will. If you want me to get into the nutrient solutions, I can do that too if you need me to. This is Judy at Judi in the Kitchen. Bye for now.